You know, one advantage of having both, one advantage about having digital and physical is physical wise, you have a bit of a backup. And sometimes most people are still used to watching physical media. Streaming wise, it's kind of up in the air. Why do I say that? This morning I tried to watch the live stream of my church service, of my church's church service, and it started to get interrupted. So that's the only disadvantage when it comes to streaming. Sometimes it may be the easiest, most times it may be the easiest, not sometimes, but most times it may be the easiest way to access something. But the only disadvantage is depending on how you're connected to it, it's not always the best choice. It isn't. If you have 4G or 5G or 3G, whatever, mostly 4G and 5G, with your phone or whatever your hotspot device is, then you're pretty much in good shape. But even that sometimes can get interrupted due to the fact that you can have other people with a similar service, if you will. A good example for me like that at work is our root go there. It allows us to watch YouTube, but when it comes to Netflix, it does that too, but it gets interrupted. And sometimes YouTube does the same thing. But when digital is working, one of the best advantages is you can skip forward almost at lightning speed to a part that you want to look at. Same could be said for Blu-ray, but you have to go by chapter. Blu-ray and DVD, but you got to go by chapter. Again, both have their advantages and disadvantages. Let's put it that way. But one thing about either way you look at it, one thing that you're able to do, whether you're playing the physical media or the digital media, is you can fast forward to something that people have been talking about when it comes to whatever you're watching. In this case, one of the movies I own physically, and because it gave us a code, which you do have the choice to use if you want to, digitally, is Kong Skull Island. Kong Skull Island, which came out last year, was a big hit. It was a massive hit. Maybe not as massive as people would hope, but it still was huge. But one thing a lot of people talked about, in fact, you can even find reactions about this posted on YouTube from theaters when this moment happened, is the post-credit scenes. The post-credit scene for Kong Skull Island, I apologize for that. The post-credit scene for Kong Skull Island basically depicted the future of Legendary's Monsterverse. Legendary Pictures, which is associated with Warner Brothers and Universal, basically, through this post-credit scene, gave us an idea of what was to come. Now, the Monsterverse, in case you guys don't know, is their cinematic universe, which is basically based around the Godzilla, King Kong, Toho franchises. Yeah, the King Kong franchise and the Toho franchises of Godzilla, King Rodan, Mothra, Rodan, Ghidorah, or King Ghidorah, whatever. They are all now part of one cinematic universe. Godzilla, about a year or two before, was the first of these films. Kong Skull Island was the second. But it was the post-credit scene that really got a lot of people excited, because pretty much Kong Skull Island set up the fact that we're really going to start getting the ball rolling in the next couple of years. The only question is, are they going to do Kong vs. Godzilla, which is penciled for 2020, are they going to do that justice? You see, one thing about all these reboots and retcons and stuff of King Kong and Godzilla that had come out years before is everybody was always hopeful that one of them would lead to a moment that would give us this generation's interpretation of King Kong versus Godzilla. But yet we never got that until now. One of the questions, though, a lot of people would wonder is how are they going to work around this? Seeing as though Godzilla supposedly took place in modern times, and Kong Skull Island took place in the early to mid 70s. Well, according to what I've read and heard, the beginning of the movie basically sets that tone. It basically gives us an idea that the monsters like Kong, Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, you name it, are all basically immortal beings. They are immortal beings that are in hiding. They're waiting for the moment to strike. They are in hiding. So now the question is going to be, will they do this justice? Will we get a justification for this Monsterverse? Well, if Godzilla and Kong Skull Island are any indication, I think we're going to be in good hands. The only thing people worry about when it comes to that potential meetup between the two in the 2020 film is it going to follow suit as some of the others have? Not saying Skull Island and Godzilla were not good. The thing that kind of ticked some people off a little bit was the fact that you put more focus on the humans than on the characters, the creatures, the monsters in which the movie is named after. I look at it this way. We'll know more about what direction or how they're going to treat that fourth film next year with Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. I think that's what it's called. Hold on. But again, we'll know more at that time. Let me check here. Actually, the new Godzilla film came out in 2014, so it was about 4 years ago. Yeah, 2015, but it feels like it. Oh, here it is. King of the Monsters. That's what it's called. Godzilla King of the Monsters. It is set for a release date of March 22nd, 2019. Almost basically a year from now. About a year from now, it's going to be released. Now, like I said, we'll know when King of the Monsters, Godzilla King of the Monsters comes out next year, of exactly what direction they're going to go as far as King Kong and Godzilla go. Like, is there going to be more emphasis on the monsters and less emphasis on the humans? I mean, not saying the humans, according to what I see here, the cast list is pretty big. Not saying the humans can't play an integral role or important role. They're going to. You know the humans are going to play an important role. But what I'm getting at is hopefully we'll get a balancing. Like, we'll get half of that movie will be centered around the humans and how they're dealing with this whole situation, but the other being centered around the monsters. So, again, we'll probably know more of how they're going to go, basically what direction they're going to go in. Sorry if I'm stuttering a little bit, I do apologize. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say next. But basically, we'll have a better idea of what direction they're going to go in with Godzilla versus Kong in 2020 with Godzilla Planet of the King of the Monsters. So, but if Godzilla from 2014, 2015, and last year's Kong Skull Island are any indication, I think we're going to be in good hands. I think King of the Monsters is going to be a good follow-up, and Kong versus Godzilla is going to be a good closure. It's going to be good closure unless they decide to go the Marvel route, and start doing movie after movie after movie. But hopefully that's not what they do. Hopefully they just focus it in on the two main monsters they want to get to as far as a feature film goes, and that's Kong versus Godzilla, Godzilla versus Kong. But again, like I said, if it's any indication from Godzilla and Kong Skull Island, I think we're going to be in good hands. I think King of the Monsters is going to be a good third addition to this Monsterverse. And I think Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong is going to be a good finale. I really do. I've got confidence that, they'll have some hiccups here and there. You might have some criticism here and there, but I think overall they've proven pretty much. With both these films that they may not be on the levels of MCU. They may not be on MCU levels, but they don't have to be. And that sometimes a short cinematic universe, a Monsterverse in this case, is probably the best direction to go in. So, do I think we're gonna get a good finale when they get to Godzilla vs. Kong? Absolutely. Do I think the Monsterverse is going to, as short as it might be, 4 films, is going to, it's going to leave a good legacy behind it? Is it going to have a good reputation to it? Are people going to be happy with it? I believe so. Again, nothing's going to be perfect. We know that, but if we can get something that fans have been wanting to see, that's not treated like a joke, that is a lot more serious and dramatic and dark in some areas, then I think we'll be all right. I think we're going to be good with this. So, honestly, when I look at the movies, when I look at this Monsterverse, I say 4 films is a pretty good number to go with, and I think Godzilla vs. Kong is going to be a good finale to end on. So. And I think they're going to do right. I mean, I believe it's going to be 50-50 in the last film. You might get a bit of an example of that next year in Godzilla King of the Monsters. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But that's my take on the whole Monsterverse and the inevitable Kong versus Godzilla film coming out next year, and how I believe it's going to be focused on, and how I believe they're going to focus on it, and what direction they're going to go with on it as well. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I would like to hear from you guys. Alright, so what are your thoughts on the Monsterverse, and how do you think they will handle going into King of the Monsters as well as Godzilla vs. Kong? How do you think, what is the direction you think they'll go in? Do you think they're going to be half and half? Do you think we'll get more emphasis on the monsters? Do you think it'll be more emphasis on the humans? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I will talk to y'all later.